I really hope he's going to be better at this, because my understanding is that the first guy sucked so far.
In the early
Mostly the
80s,
interrogation.
South
Okay, good.
Central LA,
I think we're fine.
police would notice a string of murders reoccurring yearly, consisting of African American women. The women would either be shot by a .25 caliber handgun, strangled to death, or death due to a result of fatal blunt force. The bodies would then be discarded throughout alleys with garbage piled on top of them. This style of homicide would eventually dub the attacker as the South Side Slayer. Little did detectives know they couldn't have been more wrong. It wasn't until 1985 where this mysterious killer would attack yet again. But this time, the victim was able to escape. 26-year-old Henrietta Margaret was able to escape her attacker and report the crime to LAPD.
Good on you.
She was able to give an elaborate description of the man and his car, which seemed to have momentarily scared him off. The Southside Slayer would eventually be arrested in 1993. His name was Michael Hubert. He was responsible for the death of 6 women and 1 child. But police would soon realize they were dealing with a different serial killer, as the DNA found would be
No deal. It's the opposite. We are trying to learn how to... so we're watching... well, there's just a bit of introduction, but we're watching the interrogation. And we are learning how to catch when someone is lying. Like you've been doing to me for the last 3 games, Seal. You've lied to my face for 3 games in a row. So now, after watching these... I'll be even better to catch you when you're lying to my face.
Matched to an unknown man. In 2001 through 2003, 3 more women would be found dead in alleys due to a .25 caliber handgun or asphyxiation. Fortunately, modern technology and forensic science would soon be introduced and eventually reveal important pieces of evidence. Familial DNA is the process of searching through the FBI's original DNA database to detect and list potential candidates who may be biological relatives to the unknown DNA presented. The DNA found on all the women would come back as a partial match to a man named Christopher Franklin, whom was charged with the use of a deadly weapon years prior. Detectives knew Christopher couldn't be responsible for the murders, as he would have been too young to commit such acts during those early time periods. Detectives' next potential suspect was Christopher's father, Lonnie Franklin, a mechanic and sanitation worker whom also lived in South Central. All police needed to do was get a sample of Lonnie's DNA, but how? After trailing Lonnie for hours on end...
So are they saying that DNA is not that precise, so it could have been the son or the father? Is that what I'm understanding here? Let's go back just a little.
Central. All police needed to do was get a sample of Lonnie's DNA, but how? After trailing Lonnie for hours on end, police would follow him into a restaurant where they would then retrieve a discarded pizza belonging to him. They were able to confirm an exact match, and he was taken into custody and questioned by 2 senior...
He was caught because of pizza? He was caught because of pizza. Okay. Well, you heard it here. Pizza saved eventual potential lives.
Police were instantly granted a search warrant and began to search his residence, where they would then make a startling discovery.
Oh, they found out everything, didn't they?
So before we get into it, I know I can see right by your expression you've got a lot of questions to ask us. We got a couple to ask you too. Okay. I'm sure you've seen this on TV 1,000 times. I've got to advise you, and then we'll talk about it man to man here. And that okay? Mm-hmm. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes. You should.
In the beginning of this interrogation, Lonnie is seated in the corner, most likely a strategic ruse calculated by the detectives to induce a sense of entrapment. It's also worth noting Lonnie's kinesics, as we're given in hindsight, the person before your very eyes were one of FBI's most prolific serial killers in the early 80s. So, understanding his relaxed demeanor throughout this entire incrimination can serve as purpose and be used as reference in other similar situations.
So, they're telling us here that the location of someone in the room have an impact. So if they put it in a corner, it's like he's trapped between the door. I've seen another interrogation when they purposefully did it reverse, and they placed the suspect right next to the door to give him a feeling that he was not in trouble and that he could run away. So how can we use this in the game? If you try to interrogate someone and ask them a question and they're kind of trapped in their corner, are they more likely to feel trapped and try to fight their way out? Are they more likely to be truthful to you? I want to see what's going to happen. I love these little details and how you can try to catch bad or even good liars, because this is all about deception.
So you want to sit here and talk about the warrant?
Yes.
And what the charges are against you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. We have been investigating a murder that occurred in 2007. Okay? And it involves a young lady. And I'm going to ask you, show you a photograph of this young lady. And
again, just before we go on, I just want to repeat one last time, because I see, and one more time, I see there's different people that were not here before. These talk might and could talk about physical, sexual, or mental violence. So if this is something that's triggering to you, please do not subject yourself to that. I do not want you to be forced to hear about those. If this is something that could be in any way a trigger for you, please go watch something else. Please, I'm not here to hurt anyone.
See if you recognize her.
Is this the one that got away?
No, I don't.
You've never seen that girl before?
No, I haven't.
Who was that?
Trying
Is
to
that
get
Peters?
enough my way out of it.
All right.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Back
Well, like I said, we've been
dead.
investigating this. It's 2007.
Put him in a trash bag. Ugh. Ugh.
You're not down here. We didn't just pick your name out of a hat. I mean, you watch all these little police shows and CSIs and all that stuff with modern technologies and all that.
Right.
Okay, well, you've been identified to this young lady. Okay, do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have any questions about that? Why would you be identified?
I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of people, but I don't know her.
Oh, the detective sounded like a bit disappointed here. So he said this guy was been identified, and he had almost no reaction. And look at that, the detective almost laughed, and kind of gave him the question he was hoping to.
Understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have any questions about that?
Why is he laughing?
You be identified?
I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of people, but I don't know
So
her.
far, I think the suspect is playing with the detective's head.
A crucial step in the interrogation, but detectives skip rapport developments as they believe they have overwhelming evidence at hand. Another noteworthy moment was Lonnie's last sentence, as voice recognition is a growing industry used in forensic science. Lonnie's last statement, when played next to the 911 call pertaining the death of a woman, under analysis can show clear resemblance and can be used in court as further evidence.
I don't know. I know a lot of people, but I don't know her.
I know too many people.
I don't know. I know a lot of people, but I don't know her.
I know too many people.
Okay, in 2003, this young lady was found killed. Have you ever seen her?
No, I haven't.
You don't know that lady?
No, I don't.
You've never seen her?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Mr. Franklin, just like the other one, your DNA was found on this young lady.
Okay.
Is there a way to explain that?
No, it's not.
It just says
I
I
okay.
don't know this lady. Sorry.
That's Valerie McCorvey.
Okay.
2002.
One more.
This young lady was found.
Using the Dexter method.
Do you recognize her?
No,
Pictures.
Princess.
Strangulation.
Never seen her before?
It's always strangulation so far.
Mr. Franklin, we're both old guys.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, and you know, I'm ready to answer questions of you.
Right.
I'm being upfront with you, and by you telling me that you don't know these people or hadn't know any way that your DNA got on their bodies,
No.
you're insulting my intelligence.
They both laughed.
I'm sorry.
They both laughed.
No.
This young lady.
Oh, this one is a bit... Yeah, he's getting a bit frustrated. Detective just slapped the picture there. This young lady. I think he's not getting the reaction he wants. And the detective is... Is he kind of losing control? To me, it looks like so far that the suspect is kind of having the advantage on the detective. I'm curious to see how they're going to turn it around. Because obviously the guy was arrested, right?
Alicia Alexander. Was found. And again,
My DNA
it's
is
all
Yes,
linked to
yeah.
you.
Okay, I'm not
Mr.
sure
Franklin,
if you see
you
it for
watch
real.
these shows. You tell me once, maybe you met the gal and you had a little relationship with her and she turns up dead. Maybe a coincidence. I just showed you
4 people.
4 people. I mean, your coincidences are getting pretty slim. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir.
What do you?
Yes.
I mean, do you have anything to say?
No, I don't. I don't know the people. I'm sorry.
I mean, how would your DNA get there? What logical reason?
I have no clue. No clue. I mean, I have no clue how my DNA would get there.
I mean, detective kind of sounds like he's just hoping for the guy to confess right away. Right? Hey, Hudson. Hello there. Thanks for joining us. We are learning how to detect deception today. We are watching some convicted criminals, investigations, and interrogations. And we're going to see what we can extract from that and find a way to bring that into our deception games. Try to find a way to see what they're doing wrong. And try to get better at deception in the game, obviously. Detective here is, I don't know, it kind of seems to me like he was just expecting an easy ride. Just tell me what you did. And the guy says, no, I'm not telling you. And detective is getting angry instead of trying different techniques. I don't think this detective would be very good at Project Winter. And sadly, so far, this guy, it's probably going to shift around. We still have 30 minutes of this, but because the guy was arrested. But at this point, this traitor here seems like at this point he's getting away with it.
As detectives proceed with a forward and factual approach, Lonnie's demeanor has yet to change, nor does he provide an explanation for how his DNA could be present at each crime scene.
Why would he give himself away? That would be just a self-report. I mean, please arrest him. What he did was terrible. But why would you expect someone who's been doing that for a long time to just come clean and just say, yeah, I did it. I don't need a lawyer. I'm just going to tell you right away.
This young lady, Lucretia Jefferson.
Back.
No. I don't know her.
Again. Coincidence?
My DNA. I have no idea.
Let me ask you something. Do you know what DNA is?
Yes, the blood, saliva, anything, any body fluids that make contact.
Okay, and it's like a fingerprint.
So first detective technique is not working. Second guy jumps in, trying to get some information out. I really hope he's going to be better at this, because my understanding is that the first guy sucked so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, only one person has that DNA.
Okay, so you understand it probably better than I do.
I understand, but I don't know these people. So,
okay.
Yeah, you got 5 or 6 people here, and I don't know.
So far.
Yeah.
From me, Are you, you go to church?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Matter of fact, that's supposed to be a church.
So far, the first one was the annoyed cop and not really trying a lot. Could be. Go bad cop.
Where's the night?
Detectives now try and correlate two locations pertaining a 911 call where a male would report a dead body and a vehicle that was involved.
Yes, I'd like to report a murder or a dead body or something.
Something.
The address is 1346 East 56th Street in the alley.
Is this him reporting his own murder?
You know, he threw her out. The only thing is hanging out of this, like he threw a gas tank on top of her, and the only thing you can see out is her feet.
Okay, what's your name?
Okay, that's the neighbor.
What's your name?
Oh, I don't stand anonymous. I know too many people. Okay then, bye-bye. 1PZP74.
Why would you not want to identify yourself when you're reporting a dead body? Are you not just asking to be considered a suspect like that? I don't know.
That vehicle was later found in front of a church.
Did you used to have access to drive their van?
No, I didn't.
Did you know people that went there?
No, I don't.
You're not that far from 60th and Normandy from where you're living.
Yeah, it's around the corner from the park.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Not trying to get caught as a snitch.
But that's not familiar to you, the Cosmopolitan Church.
No, it's not.
Okay. Personally, I'm very impressed at your knowledge of the DNA, that it's saliva and blood, and it's only connects to one person in the world. And I mean, even your.
And if you alt F for someone, you don't get jumped. You get insulted fast. Sorry, Hudson. Sorry. Too easy.
Your kids don't have your DNA. You know, they might have your blood type or something, but they don't have your DNA. That's just like they don't have your thumbprint. It's only Mr. Lonnie Franklin that has the DNA makeup that's found on those young ladies right there.
This is partially true. DNA is passed down in huge chunks of chromosomes, which each offspring receives 50% of their parents' DNA.
I'm sorry, Aiko. I'm sorry. I am not trying to make your day worse. Let's just forget about this and learn more about DNA. Yeah, so DNA can be, as we learned in the other video we just watched, DNA can be linked to not a single person, but it can be a family line, right? You could potentially be identified by DNA, or your father or your son or your children did something. Are you spending 600 for my new car key? 600 for a car key? That is a crime, and we're gonna need to interrogate the
those young ladies right there.
Key.
This is partially true. DNA is passed down in huge chunks of chromosomes, which each offspring receives 50% of their parents' DNA. In this case, this is entirely true, as Lonnie was traced through his son's DNA, being an 89% biological match.
Here, Mary Lowe was her name.
No, I don't know her. She looked like girl living.
Sorry for your key.
Rialto, one of my wife's friends. But her name is I can't get it right now. Her name is.
Oh, he knows this one?
She is called.
He's trying a different tactic?
Okay.
Why is he switching tactic? It was apparently working so far. It's just a denial. These guys are just trying to have him speak without really bringing anything. They're just saying your DNA's on her, your DNA's on her. And it probably is. But I guess if they're doing the interrogations because they need some they need the suspect to incriminate himself.
Come to me. But I don't know her.
Okay.
But she is favored the same facials.
Okay. Well, that's another one. This young lady here, her name was Bernita Sparks.
Wow, she looked heavy set.
Why?
No, I just said she looked fat.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay. You ever own any?
Your message was it's okay.
Weapons?
Detectives now inquire further into the weapons Lonnie may have had possession of. As Lonnie recounts all of the weapons he've had throughout the years, he fails to recall an important weapon found in his house. The same caliber weapon used in each murder.
So that's all the handguns you have?
That's it.
You don't know any more handguns?
No more.
What about that 25 caliber there in your closet?
25 caliber. What is it, a rifle?
No.
There's no corruption. There's no corruption. You're good. Good, I go.
25 caliber. It's a 25 caliber. A pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over the. That's not mine.
It's not?
No, that's.
Oh, that sounds like the first fuck up. You recognize the gun.
Delroy Lino.
Oh yeah, this gun. Oh, that's him. Oh shit. Oh shit. No, not my gun. It's not mine.
We just picked up his stuff last week.
Detectives refrain from seeking a confession for the firearm and continue to reveal the women that have been found linked to his DNA.
This young lady here. Name is Barbara Ware.
What is it going to do? Just showing me more pictures. He's obviously not reacting to them.
Nothing about it.
Nothing about it.
Do they expect, like, after the 15 pictures, it would just start breaking down?
Sorry, I don't.
I mean, he just says, I don't know, and he laughs.
Again, you know, it's like I told you earlier. I mean, I'm really feeling insulted here. Because all of these people, it's like I told you earlier, Lonnie, I mean, come on, we're grown men here. I'm not playing games with you. I'm laying my cards right here on the table, just like this. I'm laying my cards right here. I'm telling you. Maybe one, I'd say, okay. Two, I wouldn't be going to Vegas if I were you, because your luck isn't that good. But look at all of these, straight up.
One more.
This young lady, her name is Henrietta Wright. Go ahead, take a close look.
No
Same thing again. Look at this lady. You killed her.
No recollection?
I don't recall.
You just don't.
I don't know her. I don't know her. But ugly, I don't know her. So,
What?
but ugly, I don't know her. Sorry, I don't know her.
As it seems, the interrogation is going nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, I'm not crazy. It's obviously going nowhere. They're going to have to switch something up. I'm glad I was right here. So that's why we're kind of learning something from Project Winter. So we're obviously, all of us are not interrogators, but detective. But I think we could all see, even Seal, a Real Deal said it earlier. She feels like the guy is getting frustrated. He's not getting what he wants. But for some reason, he keeps doing the same shit over and over again. Why? Why would you do that? Try something different. Come on, bro. You need to catch this guy. This guy's, you know, his DNA's on all these victims. You need to catch him. Try something different.
I don't know her.
They need to kick.
As it seems, the
ass.
interrogation is going nowhere. The detective on the left interjects with a more empathetic approach, hoping that Lonnie will crack and show any type of consciousness, thus leading to a confession.
What do you think it would feel like to have your little girl murdered, dumped in an alley, and not know how that came to be for 25 years, but somebody left their DNA signature, like their thumbprint, on my little girl. 25 years over a number of these for 25 years, all the way up until recently, just a couple of years ago. That person continues to leave their DNA thumbprint on all these young ladies who had a life, had families. They may have been out working, they may have had some drug problems, whatever, but they...
The fact that they are still interrogating him, even though they got DNA, means that he's going to go walk free if he calls for a lawyer. I hope not. I do not know the end of this one. I presumed he's going to get arrested, but then I see the title of the videos that says The Infamous Case of Lonnie Franklin Jr. You might be onto something. Echo. I don't want to spoil myself, but fuck, if this guy go free, in my view so far, it's not because he's good at it. It's because the detectives suck. And we just watched another one before where it was the total opposite. The suspect was so bad at lying and the detective didn't let her go. They would just question, bang, 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 tactics, everything. And this guy doesn't even have nothing to say. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, Tograd. Thanks for joining us. We are learning to detect deception here because we're playing social deception games most of the time on stream. We play Project Winter, Among Us, Dread Hunger. So we're trying to look at these interrogations and see what we can gain from it to find a way to identify traitor better. So yeah, in that case, the suspect is not doing anything. He's just staying there. He looks comfortable and he just looks like he doesn't give a shit. It doesn't make much sense why Lonnie hasn't called for a lawyer and kind of finding this whole circus. So I've watched a few of those videos so far, Echo, not this one, but there's a channel called GCS Criminal Investigation. I watch almost all of them, and this is a recurring theme. They don't call for lawyers, and in most cases, it seems to be their downfall. They just want to speak. They think they're smarter. They want to talk their way out of it. And they end up fucking up and self-reporting.
You still have loved ones. And that's your little girl. That's your little girl out there. And some guy that's got a problem, he keeps picking them up, having his way with them, killing them, dumping them in alleys like they're trash. But he's leaving his mark. It's like a dog pissing on a fire hydrant. That's you. You're leaving your mark every single time you do this. Well, now the science has caught up with you. Mr. Franklin, your signature is on every one of these young ladies. There's no denying that. There's no getting out of it. You need to man up and start talking to us what in God's name caused this to happen? Caused Mr. Lonnie Franklin, when he's not working on a car, when he's not with his wife and children, when he's not driving the trash truck or fixing a police car in a garage somewhere, why he's out creeping at night and he can't control himself or he just whatever. But how did this happen?
Okay,
these families...
At least.
Just like you would want to know if something happened. We'll talk about that in just a second.
This is a very peculiar statement made by Lonnie. As the detective tries to understand Lonnie's situation, it took approximately 13 seconds to reciprocate and refute a minuscule allegation. Through the course of this interrogation, this was one moment Lonnie verbalized a bit more emotion through his intonation when denying this accusation.
This young lady, Deborah Jackson. There's my cards. There's my deck right there.
Yeah.
I think my hand's a lot better than yours right now, Lonnie.
It's not working, dude. Switch it. Do something else.
Your bluff ain't cutting it. You a poker player?
No, I'm poker.
Good, because I wouldn't be gambling with this either if I were you.
Billboards up on Western Avenue with the reward and all the faces, these faces.
Right here. Oh, you've seen the billboard. There's one right at 91st and Western.
You haven't seen the news over the last several years? You know what the news calls you? You tell me what the news calls you. I know damn well you know. I mean, you watch the news at night. You watch TV
I
on
heard
occasion.
talk about some guy on the news.
Well, what do they call him?
What was it? The Reaper?
The what?
Oh, he knows.
Reaper?
He knows a little name to give
Grand
him.
Reaper? Something like
The Grim Sleeper.
Oh, okay. I know it was something like that.
Yeah.
This was a perfectly placed question made exactly for a serial killer. There's a stereotype pertaining around serial killers being extremely narcissistic and taking great amount of pride into their doings. In this case, this may be partially true, as Lonnie is quite aware of his nickname and even has a little chuckle after.
Yeah, I saw it on TV. I look at TV.
Well, of course you do.
Yeah, I got TV in every room.
Well, there you go. All right.
There it is.
Oh, there we
here
go.
we are,
Starting
sitting
back.
here.
Good job.
Paul and Dennis are sitting here having a chat with the Grim Sleeper, and that is Mr. Lonnie David Franklin Jr.
It's not me, my man. Sorry, it's not me.
Okay, then you tell me how all of your DNA got on every one of these gals.
I have no way. I have not a clue.
Well, I know
I
you
haven't
don't.
been with these girls.
Well,
I don't know how my DNA got there.
Well, you're laughing. I mean, this is not a funny.
No, it's
this
well, when you
not.
tell me something like that, it's.
This is a proud laugh. I think he's not nervous right now. He's kind of proud. He got his nickname being called out. He knows this. He knows he's enraging this guy because this guy's getting angry. He's not getting anything. So I think he feels pretty good about himself right now.
I wasn't with him.
Okay, well then, how did your DNA juice get on these bodies?
DNA
I
juice.
don't know.
Well, I mean, this is your problem, and I guarantee you, Lonnie, we're going to do everything in our power that you
don't
never
do a
see
cut.
the light of day outside of a prison again. You understand that?
I understand that. But I had nothing to do
I
with
mean,
these
you're
girls.
not going to see Crystal unless you're talking to her through plexiglass windows. You're not going to see Sylvia. You're not going to see...
You've worked on your last car. You've instantly become a billboard celebrity off Western Avenue. And unless you start talking and tell us what happens to Mr. Lonnie Franklin to cause this to happen, what goes on in I mean, are you two different people or something? I mean, is there another little side of Lonnie Franklin that we're unaware of that snaps in the middle of the night every couple of years? He goes out and kills somebody?
Creeps at night? I don't creep at night.
So I'm not even tripping on that.
At least we don't get some. Oh God, jeez. Oh jeez.
One
Like
of these
last
gals
one we
has
watched.
survived,
Oh jeez, God.
and she's gonna have a grand time sitting in a courtroom looking down at a man that.
The last one we watched was just a terrible liar. This one doesn't even try to lie. He just doesn't say anything. He doesn't give a fuck.
That did her some
Left her for
terrible things years ago.
Here are a few stories from the survivors whom lived to tell the tale. If you would like to proceed with the case.
I feel there might be a little too much details here, and I'm gonna skip this because I think this might be a issue with TOS, and I don't want any issues. But yeah, one thing we learned is that at least one person survived and got away with it. I mean, got away from him. Apparently, looking at these miniatures, a few victims survive. I didn't know that was in the video, and I don't want to be cause any problems, so I'm just gonna skip this part. Good thing they told us we could.
Tell my story. This was in 1986, and I look at it and I go back there and look at that trash bins back there and look down on the ground and just think about what could have happened to me that night.
These girls, they can't talk,
Should've
but we
been
got
the
one
intro.
that can.
Well, they talk. They talk through the evidence that points at you. Lonnie,
Yes, sir.
you're 50, you'll be 58 next month, right?
Correct.
Like I say, you're not going to be getting out. I mean, now is the time to sit there so that at least us in the twilight of our careers can go back to these family members with an explanation. Don't you think they're owed that? Wouldn't you be owed that if someone was showing a picture of Crystal?
Yes.
And I know that you have a conscience, and you have a soul, and you inside have a problem, and that problem has caused all of these tragedies to happen. But along the way, you left your mark. And I'm sure that wasn't by design that you left your mark. But like I said earlier, science in 2010 has caught up with something that you did in 1985, 1986, 1987, 1988, 2002, 2003, 2007. Damn. All of these years that have gone by finally as probably a blessing to you, science has finally stopped what Lonnie Franklin inside can't control. And that's what brought us to today. And I know that you're an intelligent man, that you have a conscience, that you have a soul inside, and that I think you want to tell us. You want to tell these family members of these young ladies that can't talk anymore.
Is that going to work?
That you're sorry and that you just you don't know how this happened, but
Is it going to work?
I don't know. You gotta open up and tell us. I mean, it's we don't have all of the answers yet, but we're working on it.
How would that work? Just keep asking him, and suddenly he's gonna talk. No, he's not talking. I think Echo is right. He might be walking out.
It's all going through his head right now, man. He's just looking at his future, thinking of his past, and what has he done?
A bit of bullying from the guy on the right side here.
He wants an attorney now, so.
Okay, Lonnie, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be arrested for murder. You have 10 counts of murder filed against you.
Okay. Anyone in chat, please tell me, why was this conversation useful? You'll be surprised, Echo. Most people that get arrested, and I know I'm, okay, a little spoiler here. I've been working with a guy. I've been editing podcasts for a guy who was a spy for Government of Canada. He's going to come on the show soon. We're going to watch this side of video together. We are going to watch the interrogation of Alec Minassian, which is the guy that was did a quote-unquote incel shooting here in Quebec. This guy was a spy. His name's Phil Gursky. You can find his content on the YouTube. His podcast is called Canadian Intelligence A. And I've been working with this guy. I edited his podcast. And no, most of them are not fake. Police are going to try everything they can to avoid the lawyer going there to get some information out. Because as long as someone doesn't ask for their lawyers, everything they say is fair game. As soon as they ask for their lawyer, starts to be a more difficult situation. That's why I don't want to protect these criminals. Of course not, but shut the fuck up and get a lawyer. Especially if you're innocent and you didn't do anything. Obviously, in this case, it's overwhelmingly proven that they say they have the DNA from all these victims. They have video evidence to use in court for when the guy messes up to die. Yeah, well, the more somebody's going to talk before they get a lawyer, the more they can use it. As long as someone... That's the difference between USA and Canada as well. In USA, that's what I learned. In the US, when you ask for a lawyer, technically they're supposed to stop. In Canada, they don't have to stop. They can continue asking you questions. You don't have to answer them. But it can keep you for a long time, continue to ask you question in the meantime. So the fact that you ask for your lawyer makes it that you don't have to answer anymore, but it doesn't mean that they have to let you go. That's apparently one big difference between the two.
Along with an attempt murder on a young lady that was survived. You're going to be taken down to the court. You'll be arraigned tomorrow. And then just stand by.
When they book you this afternoon, there's a search warrant going on at your house right now. There's police, people, a lot of different people searching your home right now. And it also added on the search warrant is some things from your body. They're going to take a little blood from you. They're going to take a swab from your mouth, and that's by order of the court.
Why would they need to take a swab? They say they already have his DNA. I'm confused. They only get to hold you for 48 hours when being charged. Same in America and Canada. I don't know about this today. I'm obviously not an expert. If that's the case, that's even more reason to try to squeeze the most information out of someone before they climb up and claim for a lawyer.
So, as on the booking process, that's going to take place as well. Okay. So. That's all. We respect your request to have an attorney, and that's that. So, any questions?
No questions.
All right.
So did he request for an attorney?
That's all. We respect your request to have an attorney.
He did request,
and
okay.
that's that. So.
So we're going to see.
Any questions?
We're going to see what's happening.
All right.
Why did all of this happen? Why did you do all of these things? All of these women were defenseless. They were not a threat to you in any way, shape, or form.
If you think they're fake, you can search them. These are real cases.
And after thinking about it, and pondering it, going over it in my mind, I've come to this conclusion, that it doesn't matter why. I can't think of anyone that I've encountered in all my many years in the criminal justice system that has committed the kind of monstrous and the number of monstrous crimes that you have. All of these people have been suffering and will continue to suffer, but hopefully, as many of them said, they feel they're going to receive some peace, and I hope that you are able to leave here with some peace today. But it's not vengeance.
So I thought the interrogators, the detectives sucked, but apparently Seal and I were wrong. They finally got what they wanted out of it, especially the guy on the left. The guy on the right didn't do anything except just flopping pictures in an angry way.
It's justice, Mr. Franklin. And so, at this time, I will say that the defendant is not eligible for probation, and probation is denied.
Good.
And so, Lonnie Franklin Jr., for the first-degree murder of Deborah Jackson as alleged in count 1 and the special circumstance of multiple murder, it is the judgment and sentence of this court that you shall suffer the death penalty. The total non-death sentence is life plus 25 years to life plus 14 years, all of that consecutive.
Goodbye. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Okay, that was good. That was a good one. That was a good one. I like this one. This guy didn't try anything at all. He just laughed at their face. He just sat up very comfortably. And he looked at them and he said, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. I don't care. He laughed at their face. The only time he cracked is when they tried to play on his ego and his narcissism. Which was a good move, I guess, by the detective. They tried to get him to crack a little bit. He sounded very proud of what he did.